Welcome to your Yin Yoga practice. This class is focused for those who experience lower back pain or discomfort, but is also really good for prevention of any pain or discomfort or injuries in the lower back. So we're going to come into our first pose, which is caterpillar. Staying seated, extend the legs out in front of you. Have a soft and generous bend in the knees, and you can always straighten the legs over time, but don't ever force it. Notice how you're sitting. Notice if all the weight is into the back body and you're sitting onto the fleshy part of the buttocks. Remove the fleshy part of the buttocks and bring yourself onto your sit bones. You can always place a couple of pillows underneath to allow the pelvis to tilt forward. From here, we're going to have a nice long spine, open chest, and then reach the arms up overhead. Exhale now, take the hands down in front of you, resting the palms up towards the ceiling. Notice if the shoulders are drawing up to the ears, just allow the shoulders to drop down towards the floor. You can allow for some rounding in this pose. If the head is quite close in contact with the knees or the thighs, then you can always just create two little fists and allow your head to rest there. Alternatively, you can have some pillows or some books or any other prop for the forehead to rest on. Caterpillar pose. Bring your attention to the sensation you're experiencing right now. Where do you feel this pose? Perhaps you feel it in the hamstrings, the lower back, the shoulders. Just making a mental note of where you feel the sensation and bringing attention there. Throughout this pose, when your mind drifts, it's completely normal. Just come back to physical sensation and begin again. Notice if you're gripping any tension in the jaw, in the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to relax down, allow the jaw to hang heavy. Notice where your attention lies. If you've drifted into the past or the future, come back to bodily sensation in this moment. Where do you feel this stretch? Where do you feel this stretch? Alright everyone, very slowly, don't rush this. Roll yourself back up to a seat, palms facing slightly back, not facing back, palms slightly behind the hips, and you can face the fingertips forward or away, it's your choice. And now let's take 3 deep breaths into the chest, drawing the chest up towards the ceiling. Two more, long deep breath, feel your chest expand up and out. Last one, longest breath so far. Exhale. Okay, great stuff. Very slowly, just come onto all fours, swiveling your feet to one side. And then from all fours, we're going to come to lie down on our belly. Feet hip distance apart or together, it's your choice. And just noticing the distribution of the weight, noticing if you're bringing a lot of weight into the right hip or the left, just trying to keep the body satiated. From here, look to where your palms are, under the shoulders, and replace your palms with your elbows. And take your forearms out in front of you. This is Sphinx Pose. If this feels too much in the lower back, then there's 2 options. The first is to walk the elbows a little bit further forward and soften down onto the belly. If this still feels too much, take one forearm on top of each other and allow your head to relax down onto your hands, onto your forearms. But if you feel okay to do so, looking for forearm and elbow to be at a right angle. But remember, it's not about how the pose looks, it's how the pose feels. You should never be in pain, there should never be any discomfort. We feel the sensation, we hold it in stillness, and we breathe. Ensuring that you're not extending the neck or crunching the neck up to the ceiling. You're not rounding down to the floor. Just keep the head nice and neutral. Imagining if you were to sing in this moment, your throat would be clear and open. So no restriction in the throat. As long as the throat isn't restricted, then you're onto a winner. At this point, it's a great opportunity to soften or close the eyes and come into the body. I want you now to bring your attention to the base of your spine. And very slowly, from the very base of your spine, start to walk up each part of the vertebrae. Imagining you're walking up a staircase, one step at a time. And as you're walking up the staircase, notice if at any point you feel any particular tightness, tension on the staircase or the vertebrae. And before you proceed and continue bringing your attention up, just sit with the sensation. Notice how it feels, how it manifests in the body. accepting the tension, accepting the sensation, as long as it's not painful. And over time, you'll start to feel that tension wash away, and you can proceed to walk up and continue bringing your attention up the vertebrae. Eventually, you'll reach the very top of the neck. You feel the spine together as one, as if you're at the top of the staircase looking down, observing the staircase as a whole. Notice if the shoulders are really drawing up to the ears. Just allow the shoulder blades to drop down the back body. Slowly, no rush. Take your forearms on top of each other and just allow your head to rest on your forearms, on your hands. And you're welcome to rock your hips from right to left. Enjoy a little bit of movement away from the stillness of our Yin practice. And then just staying still for a few moments. It's normal to feel a little bit overwhelmed when you come out of a back bend, especially when we have released tension and tightness. Just feeling the rebound effect of this pose. Lovely stuff, everyone. Very slowly, just come to roll onto your right side in a little fetal position, knees together. Just chill out here for a few moments. And very slowly, press yourself back up to all fours. From here, we're just going to come into a counter pose very briefly. Taking the knees together, taking the feet together, and sending the bum back towards the heels. Taking the hands by our side, palms open to the ceiling. And just allowing everything to relax down to the floor. Head might come to touch, and if it doesn't, place a couple of pillows or books underneath the forehead. But if you don't have any, just stack some fists on top of each other. Just resting in a traditional child's pose as a counter stretch. We won't be here for as long as the other poses. Alright everyone, very slowly on an inhale, lift back up, take the feet out in front of you and come to lie on your back. You can either roll onto one side and get down that way, or you can hold onto the back of the thighs and roll down. It's your choice. From here, extend the feet out long. Take your hands by your side. Slight tuck in with the chin. Just rest for a few moments before we transition to our next pose. And now, taking the arms up overhead. From here, we're going to very slowly walk the feet to the right side of the mat, to the right edge of the mat. You might start to feel a stretch into the left side of the torso, into the shoulders, and then start to edge your hands, the upper body, the upper arms to the right side of the mat. If this feels enough, stay here. If you feel you need a little bit more intensity, then lift the left foot, cross it over the right, and you can also lift the left hand and cross it over the right. Banasana. So imagine the shape of a banana here. We're looking to embody this in this pose, but of course it doesn't need to have that depth. It's really about sensation. How does the pose feel? Come to notice if you're holding on to any tension in the body that's not serving you. Are you gripping onto any tension, perhaps in the face, the brows, the jaw, the eyes? Just allow yourself. Give your body permission to relax. Alright, very slowly uncross your feet, uncross your arms if they were crossed, and just take everything back to center. Take your feet wide, take your arms open, splaying out from the edges of the mat. Taking our rest for a few moments before we go into the other side. Okay, lovely stuff. Very slowly, just start to walk the feet to the outside the left side of the mat, off the left corner of the mat. And then take the arms up overhead, reaching them past the left corner of the mat as well. One way to think about this pose is in the original Hot Series, standing half moon pose. It's like that, but just lying down really. That can help people understand this pose if they're feeling a little bit lost. Remembering if you need to intensify, if you're really not feeling anything, remembering you don't need to go to intensity, nowhere past 60%, but if you're, let's say, at 30 and you need to get a little bit more sensation in, then just cross your right over your left, cross your right hand over your left. You can always walk the arms and feet further away as well. Banasana on the other side. At this point in your practice, just come to notice the most predominant sensation. What sensation can you experience right away? It's very obvious. It could be in the shoulder, the side of the body, the rib cage, perhaps the midsection of the spine, the hips. Where is the most predominant sensation right now, right here? Bring your attention to a very subtle sensation, one that you can only just make out. It could be the feeling of the air on your body, the coolness or the warmth. It could be the feeling of the clothing you're wearing in contact with the body, or the sensation of the breath coming out the tips of the nostrils. Okay everyone, no rush, just start to bring yourself back to the center of your mat. Feet can be wide, arms can be wide, and just stay here for a few moments. And from here, in your own time, start to draw the knees up into the chest, give the knees a nice squeeze. You can rock from side to side. Getting a little bit of a massage into the lower back, the lower spine, giving your knees a nice squeeze. Slight tuck in with the chin Take the arms out wide now like a capital letter T, and if you don't have space to take the arms out wide, take the arms into a cactus. And then take a long deep breath in, feel the belly expand. And on an exhale, allow the knees to drop down to the right. Notice if the left shoulder has the tendency to lift up. See if you can encourage it to relax down to the floor. If it doesn't touch, then that's okay. It will over time. If this feels enough, twisted root, then stay here. If you want to intensify the stretch, take your right hand to the outside of the left knee and turn to look past the left fingertips. If you are looking past the left fingertips, try not to have a strong focus. I would encourage you to close the eyes, but if you want to keep them open, just relax them. Don't focus anywhere in particular, just allow them to be soft and hazy. Notice if you're holding on to any residual tension in the face. Notice if the jaw is holding on to tension. If you've ever seen a pug drooling all over the place, try to embody this drooling pug with the jaw, just allowing the whole mouth to freely relax. Okie dokie, very slowly, there's no rush. Take the knees back up to center. You can give them a nice little squeeze again if you want. Nice little hug. Enjoy a bit of movement away from stillness before we go into the other side. Arms out wide or into cactus. Long deep breath into the belly. When you reach the top, exhale. Allow the knees to drop to the left. If the right shoulder lifts up, just see if you can allow it to relax down to the floor. Left hand to the outside of the right knee if you want to intensify, with the option to look past the right fingertips. Throughout this pose, I just want you to bring attention to your belly. Notice how you're not doing anything with the breath. As the body inhales, you feel the belly expand. And as the body exhales, you feel the belly contract. If you like imagery, you can imagine a balloon expanding with air, growing larger and larger. And as the body exhales, the balloon contracts and the air leaves the balloon. Drifts astray throughout this practice, throughout this pose. Acknowledge it's drifted. Feel proud that you've been aware of your mental state, and just come back to the body, come back to the rise and fall of the belly, and simply begin again. Okay, everyone. Last long, deep breath here. And very slowly coming back up. You can give the knees a nice little rock. You can do anything you like with the body. Any last little movements, adjustments. You can put on any layers if you want something to provide some warmth as we come into our most important final pose, Savasana. Coming to lie down. If you experience lower back pain, you can modify Savasana by having the soles of the feet on the floor, knees up to the ceiling. You can also have a pillow under your bum, pillow under the neck. Rotating the thumbs down towards the floor, palms open to the ceiling. But if your lower back feels okay, you can always have the legs extended as well. It's your choice. Do what's right for you. Now I want you to take the longest breath you've taken all week. Inhale now, slowly filling up your belly, up into the chest, up into the shoulders. And then hold it at the top. Retain the breath. Hold the breath. Feel any tension in your body, in your mind. And then exhale now, open the mouth, give it a sigh. Long, deep sigh. There's no need for you to do anything at all at this point in your practice. I encourage you to stay here for as long as time allows. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.